To my Canadian friends, I specifically wore my Canada sweatshirt today because I was honoring Canadian Thanksgiving. For a couple of years of my life, I celebrated both Canadian and American Thanksgiving while I was living in Canada. So happy Thanksgiving to all of my Canadian friends. Okay, let's start our recognition. And Dan, what's the first title?
That would be team lead.
And why does team lead? Why are we excited about team lead?
Because it is step one. It is the first rung on the ladder, and you don't want to skip steps on the ladder. So step one is very important.
Unless you jump right to senior team lead. But It is step one. You're right. Absolutely. And we love it. Let's hear it for Olivia Brigham from Texas.
Terry Shemka from Texas.
And Karen Ironside from Alberta. Let's hear it for our new team leads.
Congratulations.
Quite a few recognition titles in the mid to upper ranges today. Just letting you know, if we skipped you somehow, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, right at the beginning of the conversion, and you are new team leads or senior team leads or supervisors, be sure to be here next week. Be sure to be here next week. Well, you want to be sure to be here next week anyway, but that's just a hint. Also, next up, senior team leads. And you earn this with lifetime earnings of $200 USD. Step 2, Jody Latson from Texas.
We got Lorna Bryan from Colorado.
Maynard Kennedy from Arkansas.
Melissa King, Alabama.
Raphael Privot from Maryland.
Rebecca Price, Texas.
Robert Reasonover, Alabama. Great name. Love that name.
Yeah. Sherilyn Cano from California.
Susanna Farah from Pennsylvania.
Bessie Bell from Texas.
Another great name.
That's perfect for Texas.
Isn't it? I love that name. Dane Posey from Florida.
David Gillum from Texas.
Eddie McFarland from Florida.
Eva Wadley, Texas.
Francis Spear from Illinois.
Hiawatha Brown from Rhode Island.
I like that name too. That's a great name.
Yeah.
Jeanette Lamprade or Lamprade or Laprade from Florida. Congratulations.
And then from Thanksgiving Day, Canada, we have Normand Leclerc from Quebec.
So new senior team leads. Congratulations. New supervisors, and you earn this with lifetime earnings of $400 USD. Diana Oduro from New York.
And then we have Grisel Chura de Borda from Maryland.
Natalia Perry from Tennessee.
Noelle Frazier, Arizona.
Sai-Hong Lee from Virginia.
And Sue-Ann Solomon from Florida.
And from Canada, Darlene Pollard, from Yukon Territories.
Wow, I think I wouldn't have gotten the Yukon Territories abbreviation. Denise Tremblay from Quebec.
And Joe Switzer from Ontario, new supervisors. Congratulations. Awesome. Congratulations. Well done. All right, we're moving to senior supervisors, and you earn this with lifetime earnings of $600 USD. And man, do we have a lot of them tonight. Nina Pennell from Mississippi.
We have Patricia Evachenko from Wisconsin.
Patrick Riley from Florida.
Patrick Stevens, California.
Paul Hanna from Indiana.
Priscilla Brown, Oklahoma.
Robert Trimble from Texas.
Rocio Garcia from Nevada.
Ruthie L. Bauman from Arkansas.
Teodora Saucedo from Texas.
Terry Thorpe from Florida.
Vendaryl Jenkins, Alabama.
Vermont Lester from Alabama.
Vivian M. Estes from California.
James E. Brumfield from Louisiana.
Jesus Enriquez from Washington.
And Augustino Roman Fernandez from Washington.
Salome Sulsa de Villanueva from New Jersey.
Jonathan Smith from New York.
Josepha Fenton from Massachusetts.
Julita Kowal from Massachusetts.
Kay Kumke from Illinois.
Leonore Martinez from Texas.
Lena Hall from Virginia.
Luis F. Torres from Michigan.
Maria Monsivais from Texas.
Marcella R. Jackson, Maryland.
Marta A. Preciado from Nevada.
Michael Chance from New York.
Milton Garcia, Massachusetts.
And Nancy Howell from Texas. And that's not all.
Holy smokes, it keeps going. Althea Collins, Delaware.
Andrea Butler from Texas, or Andre.
Arthur Jones, Georgia.
Beverly Gallienne from North Carolina.
Bobby Thomas, Ohio.
Buford Buchanan from Michigan.
Cecilia Stolfi from Texas.
Charlie Leary from Louisiana.
Delitra Cutler from Utah. I love that name, Delitra.
That's a great name. And we have Drafonza Hall Bell from Texas.
Eloise Brown from Florida.
Esteban Ventura from Massachusetts.
Gilberto Corona from Illinois.
Helen Hazen from Oregon.
Henry Williams, Florida.
And Cheers Acupuncture and Herbs, Inc. from Alberta. Love that.
Karen Roccanelli from Ontario.
And Tatami Limited from Nova Scotia. Congratulations to all our senior supervisors. Yay, that's awesome.
Getting caught up there with some of the senior supervisors.
Yeah,
I love
that's
it.
awesome. New managers, and you earn this with lifetime earnings of 800 USD. Angela Eisenman from Texas.
Angela Boykins, California.
Carol McClure from Oklahoma.
Dan Horvath from Texas.
Gina Canadian from California. I want to say Canadian.
That was a setup right there. That
It was totally a setup, yeah.
Jeffrey and Catriona Bean from Massachusetts.
Jessica Narada from Texas.
Kimberly Grover from Michigan.
Lucy Curran from California.
Mercedes Rodriguez from California.
New managers, congratulations. Well done. I love recognition, Dan.
I know.
It's so awesome. New senior managers, and you earn this with lifetime earnings of 900 USD. Brian Brandt from Colorado.
Joseph Cobbs from Vermont.
Diane Pinot from Quebec.
And Kathy Waugh. I'm going to say Roy, but maybe it's Waugh from Alberta.
That would be the hockey player for sure. All right, let's hear it for our senior managers. Congratulations. Awesome. Next up, we jump right to director, and you earn this with lifetime earnings of 1,000 USD. Esmeralda Valdivia from California.
Jennifer Robinson, Wyoming.
And Kristen Faulkner from Texas. Let's hear it. New directors. And I love director title because it's kind of like I've always called them leaders in action. They're really starting to create that secondary source of income, the side hustle sort of income. And it gets to be pretty real around directors. So congratulations to our new directors. And next up, new senior directors, and you earn this when your pay line volume goes to 2,500. Saida Shows from California. Way to go, Saida. Well done. Nicely done. All right. Jump into vice president, and you earn this when your pay line volume gets to 3,000. Let's hear it for Jonathan Young from Texas.
Oh, where's Allison for this one? Xu Yu Lin from New York.
Way to go, Xu Yu Lin. I think you did that well, Dan. Congratulations, new vice president. Well done. New senior vice presidents, and you earn this when you have a pay line volume getting to 5,000. Go ahead, Dan.
Suviani Mack from Texas.
Congratulations, Subiani. Well done.
Well
New
done.
senior vice president.
Great job.
New officer this week with 6,667 in pay line volume. Carol Thomas from Oregon. Way to go, Carol.
Yay. Good job, Carol.
That's fantastic. Well, Dan, thanks again for joining in tonight.
Hey, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of names to read tonight, and we'll have a lot more next week as well.
Amen. Congratulations to all of our title advancements. And thanks again, Dan. We'll see you in the morning. Actually, we'll see you on the call still, but all right. We have we had 2 transformation stories, but we're going to save one of them until next week. He was celebrating his mom's birthday, and I never, ever want to get away of celebrating someone's mom's birthday, for heaven's sakes. But our first transformation story is from Quebec, Sylvie Leclerc. And Sylvie, I know you're there because I unmuted you. How are you tonight? Sylvie, you can unmute yourself. Oh. She was in iPhone. Sylvie, are you there? Let me unmute you if I can. See if you can unmute yourself now.
Yo.
Sylvie?
Oui?
Oh, there you are.
Hello, hello?
Hello, Sylvie. Are you there?
OK. Vous m'entendez?
Yes, I can see you. There you are.
OK. OK. Est-ce que Claudia est là?
Beautiful.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Claudia is going to translate.
Good, good.
Sylvie, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't speak English. I understand just a little bit, but I don't speak. Claudia va m'aider.
It's okay. I think Claudia is going to translate, right?
Yes, I will translate.
Okay, beautiful.
Cool.
Vas-y, ma belle Sylvie, c'est à toi.
OK. Je suis arrivée avec Arix fin décembre, 31 décembre 2020. Je dirais que tout mon changement a commencé là, ça a changé ma vie.
Okay, so she actually signed with the company on the 31st of December of 2020. So and it was at night. And that's when she actually transformed her whole life. That was the date.
On va faire un recul. En 2015, j'étais à la fin de ma carrière en tant que policière après 26 ans de travail comme policière.
So in 2015, she took her, when you stop working, retirement. Yeah. So she retired and she was a police officer, a really high ranked police officer. And she retired in 2015.
En 2015, je me suis retrouvée avec des problèmes de dos. J'étais très fatiguée, très impatiente. J'avais beaucoup de symptômes. J'avais plus le goût de voir personne. Je faisais du cocooning. Ça allait vraiment plus. J'ai eu un arrêt de travail. Oui, Claudia.
So what happened is when she retired, because her body wasn't following anymore. So she had really, really bad back pains. She didn't have any patience anymore because she was on the field a lot. So her reactions on the field weren't what it used to be. She was kind of depressed. And so her health was really, really going badly.
Je suis allée voir le médecin et évidemment, le médecin m'a prescrit des anxiolytiques, des antidépresseurs, des relaxants musculaires, des anti-inflammatoires, des médicaments pour la douleur qui étaient des narcotiques. Je suis toute partie avec ce bagage de médicaments-là.
So she went to the doctor because her boss actually put her on a break from her job, and she went to the doctor, and the doctor prescribed a bunch of medication for depression, inflammation, for muscle relaxing, and she had a lot of narcotics medication. So she left the doctors with a bag full of medication.
J'ai continué, j'ai tout pris ce qui me prescrivait. Ma vie allait au ralenti, je dirais. Je me suis mis, en 2016, j'ai décidé de prendre ma retraite. Je me suis séparée. J'ai 2 grandes filles qui étaient autonomes déjà, donc j'avais moi à penser. C'était pas quand même pas évident de ne pas avoir mon entourage près de moi, malgré que j'en avais besoin de ce cocooning-là, quand même.
So she actually took all of the medication because the doctor said, right? So she ended up really retiring in 2016, officially retiring in 2016, and she got separated from the father of her daughters. Her daughters were already grown, they're twins, but they were already grown. So she was alone. She didn't have like a security entourage near her, but she really needed it at that time because she was kind of in the cocooning mode. But she was all alone at home. So a lot happened during that time.
Je prenais quand même mon temps pour voyager, ce qui était mon meilleur médicament à vie. Je faisais des 2-3 voyages par année. J'étais à la retraite avec ma pension, fait que financièrement, ça allait quand même bien. J'ai décidé de vendre ma maison. Je me suis pris un petit appartement qui est super nice. Et puis, dans l'un de mes voyages, vas-y, Claudia.
So what happened is she was alone, so she just needed to take care of her, right? She didn't have the husband and the kids anymore. So she decided to travel, and that's what kind of saved her. So she was kind of traveling 2 to 3 times a year. She sold the house. She rented out a really cool little apartment just for her. And yeah, so vas-y, continue.
Dans l'un de mes voyages l'an passé, même ça fait 1 an et demi, j'ai rencontré Elisabeth Dufour. Elisabeth, on a toujours gardé contact. Et puis, elle est avec nous, avec Eric's NewAge. Et puis, elle m'a parlé des produits naturels. Sincèrement, moi, j'ai jamais cru aux produits naturels. Et puis, elle m'en parle. Puis moi, je suis rendue collée au mur parce que je suis à bout des médicaments. Je suis collée au mur. Vas-y, Claudia.
So, and like a year and a half ago, she was on one of her trips in Mexico, and she met Elie Dufour that is on her team during that trip. And Elie actually talked to her about products, right? The supplements, how supplements could be very good for her health and everything. But she didn't believe in supplements. She never believed in natural things. She really respected what the doctor said. But at that point, it was already about 4 years that she was taking heavily medicated. She was heavily medicated, and she was really, really tired. And she felt that her back was against the wall.
Là, à ce moment-ci, au moment où on est rendu dans notre histoire, on est en décembre 2020. On a eu une année de COVID incroyable où je me suis mis à prendre du poids. J'ai pris 30 livres. Puis je dirais que ce soit mon génétique ou quoi que ce soit, j'ai jamais eu de problème de surpoids. Et puis j'ai toujours été comme une fille en forme, par mon travail aussi qui nécessitait d'être en forme. Donc, après avoir discuté avec Elie, finalement, j'ai dit, OK, j'avais plus rien à perdre. Et puis j'avais besoin d'un nettoyage, vraiment un nettoyage.
So she... as being a cop and being very active physically, she never had any weight to lose. But the thing is that in December, when she met Elie, not long after, COVID happened, and she actually gained 30 pounds. And since she's never had problem with her weight, she was kind of worried. So she was actually open to listen to what Elie had to offer her for her weight loss.
Donc, je prends mes Rejuvenix, je me commande plein de produits, le Elite, Rejuvenix, Vinali, les gouttes, Spenderix et tout et tout. Et je suis partie avec tout mon petit bonheur et puis j'ai dit le tout pour le tout. Et je suis partie au Mexique, toute seule, en voulant me faire un gros nettoyage de moi-même et puis prendre un temps aussi de recul et prendre soin de moi.
So what happened is that she felt that she needed to clean her body, her mind, everything. So she bought a lot of supplements. She bought Elite, she bought Vinali, the drops, of course, the Restorex, the Rejuvenex. She bought a big pack, and she decided to go to Mexico again to take care of her body and her mind. So she just left with all of her supplements and lived for actually quite some time in Mexico. Yeah.
Merci. Et puis, j'ai commencé tout de suite au mois de janvier. Et puis, je me suis mis à marcher. J'étais en forme physiquement. En dedans de 2-3 semaines, je peux dire que je me reconnaissais plus. J'avais repris le contrôle. J'avais repris le contrôle de mon moi-même. Et puis, de me sentir en forme, de me sentir en énergie, de plus faire mes siestes d'après-midi. Excuse-moi, Claudia, vas-y.
So when she got into Mexico, well, of course, she started to walk more and more because it's nice, right? But the thing is that she couldn't do that because she was in so much pain before. And after about 2 to 3 weeks, she felt the energy level go up. She didn't need to take her naps anymore during the day. She just could go out and just have a good time and have that energy that was actually, she was taking control back of her life and her energy. And that's what she loved the most about it.
Awesome.
Ça m'aura pris 3 mois, mais à suivre religieusement ma détox et puis tout ce que j'avais à suivre, mais toujours en faisant mes marches, la marche rapide avec mes poids, faire de l'exercice, de la nage, de la danse, je pouvais à Mexique. Et puis, après mes 3 mois, j'avais réussi à perdre complètement mon 30 livres. Mais nonobstant le fait que du 30 livres, c'est d'avoir repris le contrôle de mon moi-même qui était au-delà de tous mes espérances. Et de ne plus prendre les médicaments. La médication, c'est moi-même qui l'ai décidé. On dit c'est de notre sort. Et puis, après 3 semaines, les antidépresseurs, les anxiolytiques, tout, j'ai tout coupé au complet. Et j'ai embarqué avec les produits naturels. Et mon Dieu, c'était mon sauveur. C'était mon sauveur.
So I hope I'm not going to forget any of the good information she just gave, but she actually did the slenderized protocol for 3 months with the detox and all the supplements. And she actually in 3 months lost her 30 pounds. But the most important thing that she found was her health, her energy, and by her own decision and her feelings, she stopped taking her medication that she was taking for so many years. And she felt that she didn't need the medication anymore. And that was her own decision. She didn't go to the doctor or anything. So she really cleaned her body the most that she could. She was walking, she was swimming, she was dancing, because in Mexico that never stopped during COVID. So she was having the time of her life, taking control of her body and her mind, and especially her health. So she cannot live without the supplements now. For somebody that did not believe in natural supplementation, right?
Yes,
She believed everything the doctor said and took the medication for about 6 years. So that's a really big 360 turn around.
Merci, Sylvie. Merci.
Welcome.
That's
Merci.
awesome.
Merci.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Claudia, for translating. That's awesome. Thank you both.
Merci, Sylvie.
Merci, Claudia. Merci beaucoup, ça a bien été.
Merci. All right. Well, we have a special guest tonight, but what I did is I actually asked one of our guests from Thanksgiving in Canada just to share quickly one thing that she's very thankful for this Thanksgiving season. I thought it would be appropriate since it's the Canadian Thanksgiving. So please welcome Marlene Trenholm from Penticton, always Marlene from Penticton. So Marlene, please just take a few minutes and share with us, will you?
Well, there are so many things that we can all be thankful for. And with all the turmoil that is going on in the world, it is so appropriate for us to stop and express our gratitude and our thanks for so many wonderful things that are happening along with all of the things that people are concerned about. And I, for one, am so thrilled to see the beautiful fall colors. Something that growing up in the Maritimes was always pretty important to me was the fall colors, and they're starting to come out. Family, of course, is one of those incredible things that we're all so very thankful for. And I think that several of you are aware that I live in a house where there are a number of adult children still living here. And so even though we're limited in the numbers of people that we can invite into our homes in this area right now because of COVID, we were still able to have 12 people around our Thanksgiving table yesterday. So that was incredibly awesome. And I'm very grateful for that. So we had 3 generations at the table, and that was so much fun. And I think most importantly, I am thankful for this amazing community of people who are so supportive and so caring and so giving and so wonderful. And we've become friends with people from throughout the continent and around the world that we never would have met without this company. So that's been a huge blessing in my life, and I am very grateful for that. And always, always, always grateful for the improvement in my health, thanks to leveling up and these amazing products that we get to take and use and share with other people. And the change and the transformations that we see in ourselves and in others is something to be truly, truly grateful for. So thank you very much for letting me share some gratitudes, and I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Marlene, thank you. I knew that you would just do a great job of representing all of our Canadian friends tonight. Thank you for being on the spot, because I did ask you kind of on the spot. So thanks again, and happy Thanksgiving again to all of our friends in Canada. So tonight we have a special guest, and most of you who pay attention to our social media during the day, you know who that special guest is. But I have grown, as I've said before, to really appreciate and respect our next speaker, our final speaker tonight. He and his wife, Ashley, are chairperson. They are part of our Partners Council. Just a tremendous leader, very consistent. I mean, talk about setting an example. He is on the road more than he's at home, I'm sure. And if Ashley's like my wife, then she's like, well, yeah, it's okay some of the time. But please welcome our good friend, Mr. Todd Rowland. Todd.
Thank you, Rick. I tell you, what a fitting night. You asked me to talk on vision and seeing the big picture, and what a fitting night to get to do that with seeing the interview with Sylvia in Canada speaking in French. If you think back just 20 years ago, the year 2000, if somebody would have told us we'd all be sitting around tonight staring at our cell phones, our iPads, our computers, and talking to people in different languages around the world about a business, we would have been like, what? That doesn't make any sense at all. But here we are, and it happened. And what we want to do in life a lot of times is create our future. If you go to the dictionary and you look up the word vision, what it says there, it says it's the ability to think about or plan the future with wisdom and imagination. And, you know, if you read back in the Bible, King Solomon prayed for wisdom. So it's always good to have wisdom in your decision making. But once you decide what your path is, imagination becomes the most important thing. So specifically for all of us, we've all entered this home-based business, phone-based business, whatever we would like to call it. And we've all entered it for our own reasons. It may be that you want to create extra income flow at your house. It may be that you want to reset your health and create a brand new you, which needs desperate imagination, especially as we age, because we get so used to our bodies the way they are, and to try to change it is kind of hard to think about. It's work involved. But some of us are here for big money. Some of us here want to create a walk-away business, a legacy for our families, a residual income. We want to create an international, worldwide business, just like Stefan and Claudia, who we just heard from. They've got business from Korea to France to Canada to America, and there they sit in the wilderness of Northwest Canada, being able to create it all from their computer. So let's begin with the imagination part, because when we get our start here, oftentimes we're mired in a quagmire. That's the reason we start in the first place. Or maybe what I've done for a living for many years isn't working as well as it used to. Maybe I'm burnt out on my occupation. Maybe I've accumulated debt and I don't really see a way to get out of it with my current path. Maybe I have kids ready to go off to college and I don't really have a way to pay for it. Maybe I don't have a retirement. Maybe I want time freedom. I want to go travel the world with my family and see things. Well, those are all big picture vision scenarios, how to accomplish those goals. Maybe some of you want to accomplish every one of those goals, but with your imagination, you have to reach out 3, 5, 7 years down the road. And maybe you don't start massively. Maybe you don't build a $10 million house on the beach or in the mountains on day one in your imagination. Maybe you just get your own house paid for. But I encourage you to write it down on paper, because what you got to do is you got to create something you're willing to work for day in and day out. There's an old saying that goes that when people graduate, oftentimes the A students end up working for the C students. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think what's behind that saying is the C students, maybe it's because they're not as smart, maybe they focus on other things, the bigger picture, but the A students, they generally get really good at specific things. They dot all the I's, they cross the T's. Maybe they're your CPA, maybe they're your doctor, all important things in our life. But sometimes those A students are needed for a C student's vision to go create it, because if you have a big picture or a vision, you don't want to get bogged down in the day-to-day activities. What your big picture or imagination allows you to do, you're chasing a goal day in and day out. And while you're chasing that goal, if it's any business worthwhile, it's going to have adversity. It's going to have emotional roller coasters. You're going to be up 1 second and down the next. You're going to be everything moving perfectly 1 second and everything's all screwed up the next. Well, those are the day-to-day transactions. And Rick knows that I'm a big picture guy. Really, the only person on the planet Earth that knows I'm a negative person is Rick Redford, because he fixes my daily problems. So when I call Rick, I don't get to be big picture, but I'm big picture for everybody else. Just Rick's my problem fixer. So just because we have our eye on the big picture doesn't mean we don't deal with the daily issues that our business or our future needs to be generated. We just stay focused on the positive. So let me tell you a couple things here. First is, the one thing that's most important, and we have total control over, is the positive attitude. And it's often said people with the best imagination or the best vision, those people are always the most positive people. But I also tell you it's flipped, that most people that are ever going to create a vision and really achieve it are positive people. I'll just tell you, the attitude being positive is the number one thing involved. And anytime you lose focus of the big picture or the vision and you get caught up in the daily drudge, it can create negativity in your own mind or your persona. So anytime you feel that coming on, step back. Why in the heck did I start down this path in the first place? And is there anything else I could possibly do besides the vision I've cast to create that future that I really like to have? And I'm gonna give you a couple examples real quick. Let's talk about Elon Musk for a second. Elon Musk sold PayPal in 2002 for $165 million. That's a fact. Now, the second piece of this is all over social media. I don't know if this is the fact. I couldn't find the documentation to back it up, but there's definitely quotes and lots of people that say this. And what they say is that Elon Musk took that $165 million and he invested 30% of it in SpaceX, and he invested the other 70% in Tesla. Well, and that, by the way, that was in 2002. What the social media posts say is he then went and borrowed money for a rent. Now, I don't know if that's exactly true 100%, but I think you get the gist of it. He took his $165 million and he cast another vision in the future. Now, when he started building Tesla, I'm going to tell you, in 2002, heck, we don't even have an Apple Watch yet. iPhones aren't invented yet. And he's out there going to make an electric car. Heck, I mean, he's still dealing with people like me that love my truck. And I mean, I ain't against a battery car. I just hadn't decided to buy one for myself yet. So he doesn't need me to agree with him. And I think that's maybe the first thing we all have to learn about our vision is we don't have to have everybody on board. Just because I haven't bought an electric car doesn't mean that Tesla hasn't been successful. So think about this. He invested all of his money in 2002 in Tesla. And with people like me fighting against him the whole time, I'm not driving no battery car. Without us, he has still created a net worth of $27 billion. And I heard it said one time that if Elon Musk should get into something else, he should get into electric airplanes. But I saw him respond to that tweet and he said, I would love to create some type of battery operated jet. But he said, my head's already about to burst. What that means is he has the vision, but the day-to-day drudge with what he's got going on with Tesla and SpaceX is as much as he can handle right now. So the vision doesn't mean he hasn't had a lot of day-to-day issues. As a matter of fact, it wasn't about 4 or 5 years ago, they thought Tesla was going to go bankrupt. I won't go real in depth on that for time's sake. I just want to give you one more quick example. Steve Jobs actually created Apple Computer in 1976.
Yep.
Now that's maybe a fact we don't know, but here's a fact probably a lot of you don't know, is that in 1985, he was fired from the company he created. Not just fired, he was kicked completely out of Apple. They didn't want him anymore. It wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't running it the way they wanted to. Adios to Steve Jobs. He ended up working for another company that 9 years after that, Apple went in and purchased. And so I'm not sure how it happened, but along the way, after that Netscape company that Apple purchased that Steve Jobs was a part of, somehow he became interim CEO again. This is like 20 years into the creation of it. Well, the year after that, he became the CEO. And you're not going to believe this, but since that moment in time, 20 more years down the road, Apple is now a $2.3 trillion market cap company. See, I don't know exactly what Steve Jobs was seeing in 1976, but there were a lot of day-to-day drudges that got in his way. As a matter of fact, it took him 20 years to get to the other side to actually land and achieve the vision that he had created back in 1976. So I say all that to encourage you. The most important thing you can do for your future is cast your own vision. You want to cast your own big picture. Where do you want to be? And then understand there are day-to-day things we must deal with, but do not let that change your positive attitude. I think in life, you have to be centered. Everybody has their own way. For me, it's Jesus. That's just for me. It keeps me out of the ditches. It keeps my mind on the big picture. Makes a lot of things that go on in a day that could bother you, not really bother you, because there's a big picture to it. And I think maybe the background of being a high school football coach, and I'll conclude with this, Rick. High school football coaches, we start every year with a desire of a state championship. We want a state championship ring. We want a banner in the gymnasium. We want a trophy. And what we're willing to do to achieve that is really, in today's football world, become a 365-day-a-year job. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids coming to the weight room, busting their butt, running sprints, sweating, getting yelled at. There's probably, for some kids like to work out, but a lot of them, they really only come there because they have to be on the team. They don't, like if that was what it was, they wouldn't show up. They're chasing the ring. So they're willing to take the abuse. Football season starts. you start your journey into the season. And what happens is only one person comes out victorious at the end of a football game. And if it's a 10-team district, only one of those 10 teams can win. So as you start down the path, sometimes, although our goal was to win a state championship, we get beat down. We lose game one. And as soon as we lose game one, we're maybe not out of it. We're still all positive. We can fight our way back. We're still going to win the state championship. Then all of a sudden we win game two. Then we lose game three. Now we're 1-2. And we start maybe readjusting our vision a little bit. Hey, listen, nothing else. Let's just finish somewhere second, third, fourth in the district, maybe make a playoff travel. And all of a sudden we lose 2 or 3 more in a row and the season's starting to tank. And we're saying, listen, let's just not have a losing record. Let's just keep fighting. Let's show up at practice every day. Then all of a sudden we have a losing record and we're like, listen, we're not going out of here losers. Let's win this for the seniors. We're fighting to the last dead-gum minute. But here's the greatest thing about being a football coach. No matter how bad of a season we have, when that season ends, we give them 2 weeks rest. We have a banquet. We wish the seniors off. And guess what we say? We're going to win the state championship next year. Let's get in the weight room. Let's work harder. Let's lift weights more. Let's run our sprints faster. Let's do more 7-on-7s. Let's go win this state championship. And everybody's all in again on the new season. Mm-hmm. So the moral of that story for you here in your business is, if your season isn't going as planned, sometimes it's okay to step out. I love what Sylvia did. Go to Mexico for a week, flush it, and let's start the new season with a big picture and a vision and go conquer our dreams, because we have the vehicle to do it. Rick, thanks for inviting me on board tonight.
Wow, Todd, that was fantastic. In fact, so many analogies that you bring up tonight. It's like your new season starts a week from Thursday in Salt Lake City. Anyway, it's I first of all, Todd, thank you so much. Marlene, thanks for sharing your gratitude tonight. Sylvie, great way to start the call, and Claudia for translating. Dan, Anthony, Ashley, thank you for just being there to help and to be a part of the call. And I pick a quote always 3 or 4 days ahead of, even before I know who's going to speak. So Todd and I have no coordination tonight relative to this quote. But listen to what quote this ended up being. Todd, you're going to love this. Decide what you want, decide what you're willing to exchange for it, establish your priorities, and go to work. Could there have been any of a fitter of quote after Todd get shared tonight? So thanks, everybody. Have a great time. Wednesday, our great TL is going to be on Wellness Wednesday. So I'm going to unmute the lines. Good night, everybody. Have a great night.